Alright, so The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett Episode 6 came out this week, and there's a lot I want to talk about, so let's get started. Oh yeah, and spoilers in 3, 2... So this episode has cameos galore, so they started out with Cobb Vanth, who I was really excited to see back, as he was one of my favorite characters in Mandalorian Season 2, and I kinda wish that they did more with him. And he's still just as likable and kicking butt as always, and I honestly would watch the entire show with this guy. The Book of Cobb Vanth, win Lucasfilm. And also kind of neat seeing how life is with him without the armor, where he's a little bit more vulnerable. And while he is still a good fighter like Mando and Boba, he is still kind of just a regular man. And then picking up from the end of the last episode, Mando lands on a new planet where our beloved Grogu returns, and still as adorable as ever. And of course, being trained by Luke, which was so cool to see, and something poetic about Luke Skywalker, who was trained by Yoda, is now training a little Yoda.
Yeah, it's like poetry, sort of, they rhyme.
And some of Luke's training tactics are pretty much exactly what I expected from Luke, and while at the same time, some things that I did not expect from Luke, as I forgot that he probably would follow the ways of the Jedi a lot more closely. Well, that is, at first. And we'll come back to those things later. By the way, it is kind of cool seeing elements of Luke's training from the original trilogy and Grogu's training. Like the train remote, kind of like what Obi-Wan had in New Hope, or even Grogu in the backpack on Luke's back during the training kind of reminded me of Empire Strikes Back. Wow, say that 3 times fast. Oh, and almost forgot that they got a glimpse of Grogu's backstory there, too, which was so good, and kind of crazy to think that Grogu was right there during the events of Revenge of the Sith. Speaking of Jedi, Ahsoka also comes back. Was not expecting to see her here. And she talks to Mando. He wants to give Grogu the little gift that he last episode, but he just has to leave it with her as she feels like seeing him again would be too hard on Grogu with his training. Kind of the attachment thing from the Jedi, which seems a little unhealthy, but still would have been nice to see Mando and Grogu reunite. I think that's what we all want to see, but I guess it is one of those things where it's still kind of understandable, though it is still hard. And Mandalorian getting to reunite with Cobb Vanth and kind of getting a little bit of follow-up to Season 2, Episode 1, seeing what the town of Mos Pelgo is like, or as they call themselves now, Freetown. I think am I the only one that actually makes me think of Free City from Free Guy.
And of course, the big reveal where we see a strange figure approaching the town, and I was like, is that Cad Bane? And it was, and I did not expect to be this excited over seeing him, but I was. He's just menacing in live-action form, and the standoff between him and Cobb Vanth is straight out of Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Great tension building, though, and it really does establish Cad as a threat. Kind of sad, though, that the Pike Syndicate, the main villains of the series, aren't even much of a threat until you literally bring in Cad Bane, but whatever. Guess I could have used better villain development there. Just hope Cobb isn't dead, because I really feel like he's been underutilized, so hope that he survived that one shot. Also, the title of this episode is From the Desert Comes a Stranger. They were hinting us with Cad right there, right in front of our eyes, the whole time.
Then came the ending that I didn't like at first, but grew to love more I thought about it, where Luke gives Grogu the choice between the cute little chainmail armor that the Mandalorian made for him, or the lightsaber that belonged to his own Jedi Master, Yoda. And at first I was like, oh come on, don't let him choose, just let him have both. Because, come on, who doesn't want to see a cute little baby Jedi Grogu with armor and a lightsaber? But then, the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's actually kind of like life. Sometimes we have to make choices like that, where you have to choose one thing or the other, or sometimes even have to force yourself to choose looking into your future instead of your past. And while you definitely don't want to neglect your past, you also want to focus on your future as well. And really, there's actually no wrong choice either, as he's trained to be a Jedi, so you want him to have the lightsaber, but however, there's still sentimental value with the Mandalorian armor, as it came from Din Djarin, who is basically a father to him, so you can understand either way whichever one he chooses. Or I am curious of if something with Grogu could lead to something that Luke later regrets, which is later reflected in The Last Jedi, if I dare say that title. And I'm not saying it will happen, but I could see there being some kind of division between Grogu and Luke later. Not saying going to the dark side, but maybe there being some kind of neglectment between the two. Man, actually this theme of choices almost kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. Now, it seems like Grogu's way too little for these kind of hard life choices, but I still kind of like it. And looking forward to next week's finale for hopefully the big Mando and Boba crossover where they team up to battle the Pikes and maybe have some kind of face-off with Cad. Maybe either Mando versus Cad or Boba Fett versus Cad, or maybe both. Maybe it could be Mando versus Cad, and when Mando is down by Cad, that's when Boba comes in to the rescue. The 3 biggest bounty hunters in the galaxy, all in one big showdown. And that is the episode, and the one thing that is still a bit of a mixed bag is why didn't they just save all of this for Mandalorian Season 3 instead of throwing it in the middle of Book of Boba Fett? I mean, this is now 2 episodes in a row where Boba Fett wasn't even in the Side of Six episode, and this one he kind of makes a cameo in his own show. Now, granted though, I'm really invested in the Mandalorian story, so I love all this, but it is still in the middle of somebody's show, so hopefully they can wrap up both stories for the season, as well as still leave some things open for, of course, Mandalorian Season 3 or a possible Season 2 for Boba. But what did you think of this week's episode? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and be sure to subscribe for more future videos, as I am wanting to work on more content here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.